Scientists discover new Rapture sign at the Mississippi River. The Mississippi River, which spans over 2,300 miles, has seen its water level drop precipitously due to the severe drought conditions. Some long-lost secrets are being revealed as a result. So what does this mean for the end of the world? Let's find out. The Missouri Department of Conservation reports that the river gauge near Chester, Illinois, has been hovering around zero for the past week. Drone footage of the Mississippi River in Tennessee, near Memphis, shows how much the 270-mile-long river has shrunk in recent months. National Weather Service records show that the river level in Memphis fell to a record low of 10.75 feet. A global warming emergency. In general, climate change is leading to wetter conditions in the upper Mississippi River basin, but in recent months, lower water levels have revealed areas that are normally inaccessible. Last weekend, thousands of tourists trekked across a riverbed that is usually underwater to reach Tower Rock, a jutting structure located approximately 160 kilometers or 100 miles southeast of St. Louis. It hasn't been possible to make the trip dry since 2012. At the point where the river is only 0.8 kilometers, or half a mile wide, at the boundary between Tennessee and Missouri, four-wheeler trails wind through miles of exposed riverbank. California has had its driest three-year period on record, putting a strain on water resources and raising the danger of wildfires. Climate change is causing temperatures to rise, which is making droughts happen more often and get worse. According to Jen Brady, a data analyst with Climate Central, a nonprofit collection of scientists and researchers that report on climate change, the drier places are going to continue to get drier, and the wetter areas are going to continue to get wetter. As a result of climate change, storms in the Midwest are becoming more intense. The NOAA reports that the frequency and intensity of floods on the upper Mississippi River are increasing at a rate higher than everywhere else in the country. A buildup of fertilizer and manure on farms has raised concerns that it could be washed off in heavy rain, harming aquatic life by depleting oxygen supplies in nearby waterways. In extreme circumstances, people are relocating to areas with access to water sources other than the Mississippi River. A lack of rainfall is putting drinking water wells in Iowa and Nebraska at risk of running dry. Due to the drought, the Mississippi has shrunk in some places to the point where people can walk on dry land in the middle of the river. More and more explorers are taking to the riverbeds, and they're uncovering artifacts that had been concealed from view by the rushing water. Bones of a human being. Crystal Foster, a native of Mississippi, told NBC station WMC-TV that she discovered human bones while strolling down the bank on Saturday in Coahoma County. It was only a matter of time before human remains were recovered, Foster told the television station, because the water levels are so low. CNN reports that the county medical examiner detected a lower jawbone, rib bones, and other bone pieces among the remains. The report says that the authorities plan to take DNA samples from the remains to compare with other cases of missing people. The wreck of a ship. A ferry from the late 1800s or early 1900s that had been lost in the river has been uncovered in the river near Baton Rouge, Louisiana, reports the Associated Press. This month, a resident was walking along the river's edge when they spotted the ship, the news agency claimed. Some of the boats were discovered around 30 years ago during a period of low river levels. State archaeologist Chip McGimsey of Louisiana thinks the vessel may be the sunken Brook Hill Ferry, which ferried people and horses across the river until it sank in a storm in 1915. According to Chip McGimsey, the state archaeologist of Louisiana, they have known about the Brook Hill for a long time. "We believe this ship was built in 1896 in Indiana for trade here," McGimsey told WBRZ. Both this vessel and its twin, the Istroma, were doomed to catastrophe. When a severe storm hit on September 29, 1915, both ships were lost. According to McGimsey, who spoke with the AP, the river will eventually rise back up and the ship will fall back underwater. That's why we're going to all the trouble of recording it this time around, because she might not be around the next time. Artifacts from the Civil War. Relic hunter Riley Bryant told ABC News he discovered Civil War bullets and a Union U.S. cartridge box plate while strolling down the riverbank on a Saturday. At the time of his groundbreaking find, he was strolling under the I-55 bridge in Memphis. Civil War historian and lifelong Memphian Bill Shaner told ABC News that the site where the artifacts were discovered was once Fort Pickering, a base used for transportation by both the Confederacy and the Union throughout the conflict. The 63-year-old historian agreed that Bryant's find was unusual. Their condition is unmatched. It's not easy to come across such a pristine box plate, Shaner stated in an interview. Extinct tiger bones. Wiley Pruitt was exploring a sandbar on the Mississippi River when he saw something black sticking out of the sand. When Pruitt examined the object further, he realized it was a tooth, and a large one at that. It looked like a carnivore had been there, and he was pretty sure it was. The teeth were found with a piece of fossilized jawbone, and experts believe it previously belonged to a huge American lion, Panthera atrox, a species that has been extinct for around 11,000 years. However, fossilized proof of their existence in the eastern United States is exceedingly uncommon, even though the great cats prowled North America during the Pleistocene, first emerging at least 340,000 years ago. As of today, Pruitt's tooth is only the fourth of its kind to be discovered in Mississippi. Impact on the economy. There's been a significant economic impact due to the drought. Even though the river transports almost half of all U.S. grain exports, industry estimates indicate that the drought has cut cargo flow by about 45%, as cited by the federal government. Rail shipping costs, which are more expensive than barge shipping, are also on the rise. There's a drought affecting around 60% of the Midwest and northern Great Plains. For the previous 2 months, precipitation has been below normal along nearly the entire length of the Mississippi River, from its headwaters in Minnesota to its delta in Louisiana. Because of this, the river's water level has decreased to near record lows, hindering the transportation of recently produced agricultural items such as soybeans and corn downriver for export. Water levels in the Mississippi River, which are already dangerously low, are anticipated to drop considerably further in the coming weeks, which might hurt the economy and the job market. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration forecast in April that a mega drought that had persisted in the western half of the United States would migrate east, damaging places such as the Great Plains. Dryness and end times predictions. At the time Jesus was questioned upon being asked, "What will be the sign of your coming and the end of the age?" Jesus said, "Wars and rumors of wars, famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in various areas. This is the beginning of all our pain." A vision of 4 horsemen appeared to the Apostle John, signaling their arrival as the beginning of the end of the world. Revelation 6, 1-8. In this context, a white horse represents apostasy. The appearance of a red horse portends global conflict and mayhem. Famine, high food costs, and a time of shortage are all represented by a black horse, whose rider is holding a set of scales. The death of a quarter of the world's population due to starvation, illness, and natural disasters is symbolized by a white horse. There will be catastrophic tragedies on the day of the Lord, when Christ returns, according to the prophet Joel. The harvest is a bust, the wine is old, the field's harvest has perished, and its trees have all wilted. It is not the case that we see the meat being butchered right in front of our eyes. Joel 1, 10-16. Jeremiah predicted a time of judgment that would include droughts because the ground is dry and there was no rain in the country, no vegetation. Jeremiah 14, 1-6. Egypt was the setting for a fulfillment of Isaiah's prophecy. The river will be used up and dry up as seawater fails. All the crops planted along the Nile's bank will fail, and the fishermen will be among the casualties. Isaiah 19, 5-8. This ends the video. What are your thoughts on this? Share the video and subscribe to the channel to see more.